Hello everyone and welcome to another cabin review. Today we're checking out Premium on Virgin Atlantic on their A350. It's important to specify which plane because, as you'll see in a future review, things are very different depending on the plane. Alright, let's get going. Boarding was pretty smooth. Sitting in Premium means that you will kind of probably be in Group 2. So boarding after the upper class passengers but before the economy passengers. The Premium Economy cabin in this plane is quite large. It's a 242. Definitely makes it feel very big and cramped a little bit. Not necessarily as premium as other configurations. So we do have a pretty large screen in front of us. Plenty of leg room, which is very welcome. We're flying over to Orlando today, so it's a pretty decent length of flight. Between the seats we do have power, again very welcome for such a long flight. You do get a little blanket and a pillow, but these are very much the economy offerings. The pillow is nothing to talk about in the slightest. As for the screen itself, like I say, nice and big. You have a USB plug and a headphone jack. And being in Premium, we do get a menu that highlights what we will be eating today. I was pretty impressed with this. Decent selection, and it's nice to actually know what you're getting instead of the traditional chicken or beef offering of economy. You also get a bit of a mile-high tea, which is pretty cool later on in the flight, and a full bar selection as well. Of course, this is all complimentary as part of your ticket. It's definitely not free. You are definitely paying for it in the ticket, but it is complimentary. You don't have to pay anything extra. And then we did get a pre-takeoff drink in an actual glass. I went for the orange juice, but there was also Prosecco and water. All right, let's get up into the air. Now we're up in the air, let's take a look at the entertainment system. And it's your usual kind of touchscreen affair, a little bit laggy. I did like that we have the cameras of the outside of the plane. There's one on the nose of the plane and there's one on the back wing as well. So you can get some pretty cool views, and you can have this set up as a picture-in-picture like I have, so you just always have a cool view of the plane. In terms of entertainment, I don't think the selection was particularly amazing. Maybe I've just gotten used to a really good entertainment selection, and I think this is something that BA does very well. But there was this kind of a lacking in terms of TV shows, and in the movies as well. I just felt like there wasn't a whole lot. On the TV side, there was definitely a lot of that kind of like just a few random episodes of something. I want a full box set if I'm going to watch a TV show. I don't want to just start it in the middle somewhere. A little bit frustrating. In terms of the in-flight map, I do love a good in-flight map, and this one is perfectly serviceable. There's no problem with it at all, really. Again, takes a minute to load up. These things are not the quickest. You definitely get a better experience on your own iPad or something, but you know, such is life. The tail view camera though, that really was a big selling point for me. I really enjoyed this. I often use my own media anyway, so I had this up for most of the flight because it was just so cool. And basically, as soon as we were at cruising altitude, they came around for the first kind of snack service. Choice of drinks, crispy barbecue snack, which was actually very tasty. In terms of storage, you'd have the normal kind of backseat pocket, nothing special here in Premium. And you couldn't actually really fit a huge amount in here, which was a bit sad. The table was this kind of folding out of your armrest design. I am a larger guy, and it was a bit tight, to be honest. I didn't quite understand why I didn't slide further forward, but such is life. Within an hour or so, it was time for meal service. It was still quite early in the morning, so it was a little bit odd, but such is life. And actually, this was really nice. I do enjoy the meal service on Virgin. I think they do very good food. This is the honey chicken with mustard, and it was actually quite tasty. It doesn't look anything special, but there was good flavour there. You've got a nice selection of cheeses. You've got a nice dessert, and this was also their new alcohol, 0.5% alcohol-free beer, which was also incredibly tasty. I enjoyed this greatly as someone that doesn't really like alcohol on a plane. And then I looked up, and my meal was kind of ruined when I noticed that the vents on the ceiling were incredibly dusty and dirty. Not really the greatest thing here, and there's a big problem with these planes. They get worked very hard, and they're not being well cleaned, I think. You also get the iconic, at this point, salt and pepper shakers, which say on the bottom, pinched from Virgin Atlantic. They know what people are doing. Yes, I'm definitely taking these home. Quick stop to the bathroom, and nothing nice here, really. No different from the economy bathroom. It's tight. It's functional, I guess. It's not great. It's a big downside. But let's have a look at the Wi-Fi now that we are cruising and our stomachs are full. Honestly, I'm not a fan of in-flight Wi-Fi. I don't need it. We have plenty of time to do other stuff. But anyway, it is there if you do need it, and the prices aren't unreasonable. I think the messaging is quite nice, although it's worth saying BA do give free messaging if you are a member of their flying club. Then stop for a nice tea in an actual mug. Very nice touch. They don't stop feeding you is the one thing. We had some ice lollies. These were fruit loaded and they weren't great. So I had another look at the snack wall, which was just a basket up the front. But they had some very nice mixtures of snacks, and we got to pick these bits up. It was good to have a break from eating, to be honest. We definitely seem to be eating non-stop, which kind of does help pass the time, I must admit. It's about a 9-hour flight, so anything to help pass the time is welcome. So about an hour and 20 minutes before the flight was ended, not the 2 hours the menu said, we had our mile high tea. This again, very delicious. A nice warm scone, some actual clotted cream and some actual Tiptree jam. Very happy with this. Very nice additional snack. Our landing was actually quite interesting. We had a very abrupt final go around. We were almost literally about to touch down and we had to pull up and go round. Apparently there was an emergency that needed to come in before us. So that was kind of a bit of excitement for the day, and I will leave you with that. But first, my thoughts of the flight. And in general, I think it was a very good flight. The A350 is new enough that you kind of have more of the modern amenities, a nice good sized screen. It's a weird product in general, Virgin's premium, because it's definitely a premium economy. They're trying to make it out to be something a bit more, a bit special, but it's not. It is just like a lot of other premium economy packages. The only difference here really, I think, is that I do think the food is better. I've had some very nice food on Virgin, particularly flying out from the UK. I think from Heathrow they just do a better job of the menu. It works well, it's nice, and you do have that feeling of there's always something to eat and drink, which I think is important on such a long flight. The entertainment could be better. I think maybe they're skimping out here in terms of having a good range of box sets and that sort of thing. But then again, I know that BA have outdone themselves on this, including things like partnering with Paramount to offer more on their flights. So I think this is something that Virgin could definitely improve on. Is it worth spending the extra money to go premium? In my opinion, it definitely is. I'm 6 foot and the extra legroom alone really does help. Virgin do also have a kind of economy plus seat, which just gives you the extra legroom. And in all honesty, if you're looking to save a bit of money but you are tall, that's probably the place to go. The seat itself is comfortable enough, but the problem is you do have the hard sides on it, which again, as someone who is on the larger side, you kind of sometimes end up being more comfortable in a economy seat that doesn't have the hard sides, particularly if you end up with no one sitting next to you. So yeah, it's a mixed bag. I still do like flying Virgin in premium, at least on this plane. So yeah, I don't know. I'd have to leave it down to you to decide if it's right for your particular needs. But there you go. I hope you've enjoyed this review. I will leave you with our rather abrupt go around, and I will see you again very, very soon. Bye for now.